Hello. Oh, sorry, the password wasn't working for me. It kept saying incorrect. Hold on, no. All right, cool. Cool. Yeah, he'll he'll just jump in, will he? It doesn't matter. Yeah, I tried it a half times and it won't work, and then I clicked the link again, and I didn't even ask for a password, just brought me straight to it. So, oh. Yeah, go ahead. Let's go.
We'll do this one for now. Okay. I think we should be good. Hello everyone. Ignore the stream overlay. Sorry for being a little bit late. That was my fault. Welcome to episode 13.
13.
I got there in the end. Of the Movie Buffs. How you doing, my man?
Not too bad. Good. Hyped. Hyped is a word I'd probably use because of all these posters we're getting and images and awesome shows.
It is crazy how things have just kind of gone overdrive recently. I think we heard the rumblings of a trailer coming. Not a trailer, sorry, announcement of some sort. A lot of people figured that it would be the release date of Justice League, and sure enough, it came. And 18th of March, 2021, we are actually gonna get it. It's crazy, right? Look at where we are.
It's hard to believe, really, isn't it? Like we're just like I won't believe it until the trailer comes out and it says the title and the release date, and then
Until you sat there and you've just watched it, that's when you believe it.
Yeah. I was like, wow. Well, that was underwhelming. Back to my boring life.
For 4 hours, you were in a different realm, and then you're crushing back to reality.
Title, yeah. But I know I'm looking forward to it, and everyone seems to be hyped. And we've got a lot to talk about today. We've got WandaVision episode 4. We've got the Justice League posters and release date. We've got Jared Leto Joker reveal, kinda, and we'll touch a little bit on Zack Snyder versus WB.
Yes, and before we get into all that, I will apologize for everyone who's paying attention to the stream. They'll see that our section titles, they're a little bit misaligned because they were set up for a different overlay for if there were going to be 3 people in the call. So hopefully maybe our guest will turn up, which would be pretty cool. But we're going to get cracking because and because for every minute that they don't turn up, they owe us money. So we just got to keep going. That's the only way that these shows stay alive. Like when Fabian joined, I was really hoping that he was going to be late so that we could get some big bucks out of him, but unfortunately not. Zack owes us a lot. He was like 2 hours late to that episode. So come on.
He's got to owe us for something. Maybe he might show us the movie early or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. He has to do a what am I looking for? Like a test trailer, like a pilot release for UK audiences, and we will be the only people, just us, nobody else. And so Zack, if you're listening, we'll hold you to that. But we will get cracking. I've just got to just move some stuff around. I think the audio is all good. I did do a quick check earlier to see if we were all right. And we'll get cracking. So first up, WandaVision episode 4 that released last Friday, and oh my god, this stream overlays. I gotta fix this. Oh god,
bugging you, is it?
It is. It's like the green text is like a little bit over, and I fixed it.
While you're doing that, I can talk about WandaVision if you want.
Go for it.
Yeah, so WandaVision episode 4 dropped last Friday on Disney Plus, and it was actually an interesting episode because it wasn't one I was expecting. I thought we would get more of the sitcom stuff that we've been getting the last few episodes, but this one didn't really have any sitcom elements. It actually showed us the perspective of Sword, which used to be, it's kind of the new Shield of the MCU universe. But we got introduced to Monica Rambeau. She was the young girl in Captain Marvel. This is her, of course, growing up. And yeah, so we get to see Sword's perspective, them dealing with this situation, trying to figure out what's going on with Wanda. And yeah, it just went off from there. But I suppose we should talk about that opening scene if you want.
I mean, hey, you lead the charge. You're the one taking responsibility of WandaVision here.
Well, look, like in Endgame, when they showed us everybody coming back, we didn't really get time to sit with it because there was a big battle going on with Thanos, we only got to see little elements of the world kind of dealing with that kind of stuff. We got to see, was it Cap at a meeting for people who've lost people due to the snap. Then in kind of Spider-Man Far From Home, it was used as a joke. So we haven't really got to see like the dark element of this really cool storyline of people just vanishing out of thin air.
Yeah.
And I love this moment because first 10 minutes of this episode, I was like, is this MCU? Because the camera quality looked different, the tone, everything. It didn't feel like an MCU product until Kat Dennings' character came in, Darcy, with all her comedic stuff. But man, that opening scene was pretty scary. Did you like this episode? What did you make of that opening scene?
Yeah, I'd say that's probably like one of the highlights of the show so far. It's one of the coolest things that came out of Infinity War was me wondering how are they gonna, if they are gonna undo it. There are a lot of implications to that, and I'm sure a lot of people used it as kind of ammunition to fuel plot hole arguments against Infinity War and Endgame to say like, oh, if you were in a plane when you got snapped and you came back, are you just going to plummet to your death, or what's going to happen? So like just thinking about the implications of that, and then actually seeing them go like, oh, like, what if somebody was sat in that chair when Maria, came back to life? Would she just reform inside this woman and it'd be like, there's like two-headed creature on her? Obviously, they kind of just skipped around some stuff like that because I think you kind of get into a very, very dark and disturbing conversation if you get into that. It doesn't quite fit into the MCU. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's obviously there's still a lot of mystery left with the show. But I don't know if part of me feels like the episode 4 kind of cleared up too much in one go. Like, I don't know if maybe they could have. Oh, there we go. We have a special guest. I don't know if they could have. Perhaps let me just switch this over. Make sure we can still hear you guys. Yeah, I don't know if they could have just maybe cut up the exposition into maybe 2 episodes and kind of just really let the intrigue build even more. Because I think that's one of my favorite things about WandaVision is that you just have no fucking clue what the hell's going on. Yeah. But it was just kind of like, oh, it's this whole town that's disappeared. Oh, we're going to investigate. Oh, this is what happens to our drones when they go through. Oh, this is what happens when the dude went through in the sewer, and it's like, and people kind of working it out quickly. And it's like, flesh it out. And there's obviously still a lot of intrigue left. Like, when they were pulling up all the character profiles, they still didn't have one for Agnes. Despite they could explain who everyone else was, but they couldn't explain her. And just generally speaking, there are still a lot of things up in the air, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably the best episode of the series for sure, and I'm still thoroughly enjoying it. But it's just like maybe it went a bit too far.
Yeah, well, KC was asking me on Real Talk Live what was my favorite episode so far. Like, where does this rank? And I was like, oh, I really enjoyed this episode though. But I would say maybe the ending of episode 3, where Monica is pushed out of Geraldine is pushed out of this kind of reality.
Yeah.
And then the music kicks in, and then it picks up into the episode we just watched, episode 4. So I would say the ending of episode 3 and this episode are kind of my favorite parts so far.
Yeah, and there was one of the things that, and we will address Ascended Agent in the call in a second, or we'll just see how long we can go without talking about it. But I think
story of my life.
One of the things that somebody pointed out was when Scarlet Witch blasted Geraldine out, she went through 4 walls. If you consider the electromagnetic radiation field or whatever, she blasted through like 3 walls of the house, and the 4th wall to go out. That's a nice little subtle I see what you did there. But yeah, I don't know, it's cool. What about you, Ascended Agent? What did you think of episode 4 of WandaVision?
You know what? This episode was so. You know what? First of all, hello. How are you guys doing?
All right, we don't do pleasantries here. All right, we don't do being nice. All right, we reserve that for a few people.
What's happening? What's happening? You know, TPZ people that everyone hates.
Whoa, come on.
Hey,
all right.
Hey man, what did I tell you before the stream? I said nothing controversial.
No politics.
Said, be good.
Yes, on your best behavior.
All right. Well, first of all, I was watching. Okay, so the reason I'm late is I made food and it took ages to cook. And so I was just trying to like rush my food, and I opened the stream up on my phone as I was eating, and Lewis said that if the longer I wait, the more I have to pay.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to pay you a bit of money apparently.
Yeah,
if you
fair
don't
bit of
mind,
dosh.
I can pay you in clout. Is that all right?
I'd rather cash. If I'm honest,
mean-
cash in hand in an
I'm not-
envelope.
Wait. Cloud?
Yeah, I got a lot of that apparently.
Ooh, maybe. We'll see.
That could-
We'll see.
We'll talk about it.
You owe us
Could be
one.
pretty-
You owe us one. We'll keep it at that.
All right. Well, okay. So WandaVision, I really like this episode. I think this episode 1, 2, 3 should have been the first week, and then this episode should have followed straight after it in their second week, because I feel like that would have been a lot better as a way to begin the show. Because the first week, it's your first 3 weeks that we had, first two I guess, everything was quite confusing about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we waited a bit too long to get back to the normality. So personally, I think they should have done episode 1, 2, 3, and then straight into episode 4. That way we get that sense of normality in this world. Because, when you go to this world of, 1950s sitcom and then just jump every 10 years, right? It's a weird thing. I did like this episode. I think, seeing Monica, the snap, all those things happen, seeing the things that have come out of, that world just because of the snap, how they say, we're no longer looking at the stars, we're trying to focus here, trying to protect ourselves at home. It was good to see that world, the world building continuing.
Yeah.
Especially with the shield, not shield, sword. I really enjoyed seeing them.
Yeah.
I think I really like. I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a tweet someone put out. They said they'd like to see a show with the Agent
Wu, yeah. Solving the weird cases
Just
of the MCU.
something
yeah.
like X-Files going one place
Yeah.
each week. I'd love to see something like that. It would be perfect. And you wouldn't have to spend like millions building these huge sets, right? So, great idea. They should do it.
Yeah, and I was going to say, one of the things that I think was most apparent about episode 4 was you're really kind of starting to see the budget come through now. Like, even just that aerial shot of the base and, like, all the stuff that's going on inside, you're kind of starting to see where the money's going. A little of the first, like, 2 or 3, maybe 3 episodes could have been made pretty damn cheaply. Like, not saying they look cheap, just saying the budget didn't seem that big. But the whole time I've been wondering, like, isn't the budget for this like 250 million? Like, where is it all going? And it's kind of starting to come through now. But another aspect that we got that I personally feel has been a bit over hyped in the aftermath was our kind of first dip into some MCU horror with her turning around to see Vision as he looked at the end of Infinity War with the stone ripped out of his head. His skin, his skin is all faded and grey. What about you, Sean? Does this excite you for any future MCU horror, or do you think this is like as deep as that's gonna go?
I effing love that part where Vision just turns around and his head is taken out. There's a piece of his head taken out. Where the
It
stone
looked
used to
fantastic. That is one thing that I don't think anyone could dispute. It looked incredible.
Yeah.
It looked so real.
No, I don't usually I like horror movies, but I don't usually get scared or anything like that. I don't really. I appreciate the horror genre, but I don't really like sit there in tears of fright. But when Vision, I was not expecting Vision to look like that, and it was weird. It was badass. The white eyes as well, or kind of his eyes were kind of grey or whatever it was. But yeah, I love that moment so much, and it just made me think: is Wanda like a puppet master to Vision's dead body? Is she doing? Is she doing? Is it called necrophilia? Is that what it's called? When you sleep with dead bodies.
God damn it!
Is that what that's called?
I have to tell you to be on your best behavior as well. God damn it, Sean.
Sean, I wouldn't know about stuff like that.
Nobody knows what it's called, only me. But I got the idea from Wonder Woman 84.
Oh
But,
no!
Where's Casey when you need him?
He's working hard doing all my overlays for the Real Talk live show.
That poor bastard.
He's hard to work on.
I was going to say the horror is why we saved this episode for now rather than doing it like Wednesday or Saturday, because you were still shaking in the corner like, oh god, Vision's dead, oh no.
But it makes me think like how is the babies being created? How is Vision realizing that this place is weird? But it brings me to my theory. I do think, because after every episode they tell us to watch Age of Ultron, and I really like Age of Ultron. I like it better than Avengers Assemble, even though I don't have a poster of it. But I want to go back and watch that film soon. I kind of see what they're trying to tell us. My theory is that Wanda will turn bad. Everyone knows that but she'll have Vision's body, but Ultron will be in it in some way. Hydra will bring back Ultron in some kind of capacity.
Okay.
And it will be very much like in Age of Ultron. It was Ultron, Pietro, and Wanda kind of as this team at the start of that movie. And now at this time, Wanda will be kind of the leader of this group, while you have Ultron and Vision's body or something like that. Would be just pretty. That's kind of my theory in some way. I think Ultron would play some part in it, but
it'd be pretty easy to hide Ultron being there because voice acting work predominantly. You could very easily keep that under wraps, and I mean, we know that they filmed in front of an audience and they would have all signed NDAs out the wazoo, but still. Actually, before I say that, I was about to say it's been pretty damn good in terms of leaks. That is a complete lie. It's been very bad in terms of leaks. I think the whole season, or the next couple episodes at least, got leaked. But I've been very lucky and haven't seen anything. So,
was it episode 6 that was leaked?
I want to say it was at least the episode we just had, and maybe the next one, or it was the rest of the entire season. It was pretty bad. So yeah. If any of you don't know about that, stay the fuck away from the WandaVision hashtag on Twitter or anything. Be fucking careful.
It's so tempting because I really want to see it. I want to know what is there. But look at Soup's Patsy. Who's this guy? Can we block him in chat?
Who the fuck's this guy?
I want to know what's gonna happen in the next episode, because I've heard some stuff, and I think. I can't say it. I don't want to say it, in case no one's heard of it.
Yeah, you get banned. You get banned ASAP if you do any of that.
Yeah, man.
I've nearly kicked Sean off several episodes for what he's talking about.
I had to pay to be here, okay? And I don't think I'm going to get invited again. What's that, Sean?
I'm not too good. I kind of say stuff and I shouldn't say them at times as well.
Yeah, he does this weird thing where he starts talking about this other show that he hosts, and he starts talking about how people should watch it. I'm like, what the fuck is that shit? Come on.
Hey, Lewis, I've got a random question for you. Is that a Corsair box behind you?
It is.
It is.
Good eyes.
Do you have boxes inside of those boxes?
I do.
Okay. We are very similar.
I also have the PC that I built right here.
Right here as well.
And my old one right there. I literally built my PC a couple of days ago, and then I thought I killed it last night, so it was a very stressful experience. So, but that's just there for. It's also holding a very nice dark side jumper on it.
Mine's got a TV on it.
Oh, I mean, come on, man! I think you'd rather have a dark side T-shirt or jumper.
I would.
But, Ray Porter, if you're listening, and we'll have you on in a second.
Shall I message him? I don't know if he'll reply, but
this is what we do on the show. We get our guests to message other guests if they want to come on.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I can. It works. It works.
Can I show you guys a cool poster I got today?
Oh, all right. We're showing off our rooms now. This is what the episode's become.
Oh, look at me. We're here.
Oh my god.
Non-existent camera.
That's cool.
Oh damn!
I got a comic book the other day, and I'll try and get it. But it was written by Alan Moore and the guy who created Sandman and stuff. Maybe I have it here
Neil
somewhere.
Gaiman.
Yeah, that's him. This here.
Whatever happened to the Cape Crusader?
Nice. Very cool. Very cool.
4 stories in it, and hard copy. And pretty cool art in it and stuff.
Was there any point in painting any of your walls? Because they're all just completely covered up now, aren't they?
It's wallpaper, so it's not painted.
Oh wow! All right.
Well, this used to be my sister's room, so the wallpaper's pink.
Oh well, it doesn't come through. You've put some mad filters on your webcam.
Sean, you don't need to make excuses. If you like the color pink, you like it. No one's judging you.
Exactly.
Okay?
This is a progressive stream, and we're not going to judge any of it. You know?
Don't say anything now. As I mentioned, before you go into progression in 2021 and rights and stuff, let's just move into WandaVision, because I know exactly where you're going to go.
Listen, the only thing I want to say is I don't know what that Avengers Assemble poster is about, but you should get rid of that before you get cancelled or something.
No, it's okay. It reminds me of
a simpler time.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I just walked into a movie, didn't know who was created by it, I didn't know anything about anything, and I just take it for face value.
I think there's a universal agreement that Avengers 1 is safe from anything at the moment. And then it's like no one's really kind of like got a problem with it, even with Joss being the director. Everyone's like, all right, Avengers, you did all right.
Nobody talks about it either.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's also true. This is like we are speaking life into the Avengers
let's be honest,
discourse.
no one's speaking even about Infinity War or Endgame. You know, it's done. Like it's end. But that's what I love about like. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm moving on. But like,
you go for it, man. Go for it.
You know, if you think about like Justice League, right? 3-4 years on, and here we are still talking about it, and that's even like Man of Steel, BVS. People are still talking about it.
Yeah, I would say that
Zack
Man of Steel is a really good one to bring up, actually, because the conversation typically in this regard is always about like, oh, we're still talking about Justice League, we're still talking about this. There's an argument obviously to be made with the directed, with Zack Snyder's Justice League coming out. Yeah, but like Man of Steel, like that was a film that was just kind of like, it could have just been that one and done, and it came out the furthest out of the three, and that is still very frequently talked about as, you know, like, was it when they did a trending event recently for Henry Cavill, and Zack just tweets out, yeah, like Henry Cavill is Superman, and it just blew up. It's just like everyone's there, like, we want Henry Cavill, we want Man of Steel, this is a great film, and the fact that the conversation's still going on is awesome.
Yeah, well, those stories are all kind of, they're different. We've never seen anything like them before. And maybe what's helping WandaVision, what probably will help what the MCU for the next year is we have these stories that are coming, Winter Soldier and Falcon, Loki, they're all different. And it looks like they're all going to take some sort of risk. And WandaVision is being talked about week to week because of the risk taking, because of how different it is.
Yeah.
Even if some people didn't like the sitcom element, they're still talking about it, and they're like, oh, I don't like that. Oh, now it's picking up to be an MCU thing, but it's kind of dark, showing us the start of the people coming back from the snap. So I think this is good. This is good for the MCU. This is good for Justice League and all them things that comic book movies are still being talked about as much. And it helps. I think it helps. It's being talked about. So it keeps it in the discussion. Oh, Winter Soldier's coming out next. Oh, but that Zack Snyder Justice League drops the same day. So that's cool also. But what did you guys like in this episode? Kat Dennings' humor. Did you think it was a bit too much?
Oh yeah, no. it really didn't. It really didn't write. Like, there's a lot of things I loved about this episode, but her character was not one of them. She was very proactive and like useful at propelling the plot. All of that, great. You know, good at what she was doing. Was ahead of everybody else. Awesome. But it was just, I don't know. Some of the humor was just a bit like off. Like, when she
every second.
Yeah, it was just a bit relentless, and I'm like, I can see that she's, you know, giving it a all. I'm not gonna like condescend or whatever. She's obviously, you know, gonna wipe away her tears with all the money she's making from being on this TV show. It doesn't give a shit about what I'm saying, but like it was just a bit like overwhelming, I think, and a bit too much.
Over the top.
She did well though. That's her job. Like she did it from the script onto the screen perfectly.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It shouldn't have been in it as much, I think. Yeah.
I think it's just the lines that she had. And see, the thing is, we've never had much of her in the prior films. I think it's probably the most we've had of her at all in the MCU. I think it's just the lines. I really like Kat Dennings. I think she's great. I think it's just the lines away. You know, you can say one thing, but this is that thing plus extra on top. That's how it kind of feels. But I didn't mind her in the beginning. I really couldn't stand the things she was just saying, but as the episode went along, I did accept that.
That
version of her.
Got better over. I think just Sorry, go on.
Sorry. Okay, last thing. I did really like her interaction with Agent Wu. I think that was great.
Yeah.
I think as a, not a couple, but as a pair, they work well in their humor.
Yeah, definitely.
I like the start where Agent Wu is kind of investigating this missing town or missing people and then missing town. And Monica is sent out kind of to just help him. Yeah. And nobody thinks
about the card.
Yeah, nobody thinks. Yeah, the Ant-Man trick. That was pretty cool. The Ant-Man trick. Yeah. But just this town, and the cops don't have a clue what's going on. Like, they've never heard of this town or anything like that. And then just Monica walks up, and like there's a force field around it, and she touches it, and then she gets sucked in. And you have Agent Wu, like
Agent who?
Agent who? Agent what's his name? Woo. Anyway,
God damn it, Sean! You should know this stuff. Come on.
Randall Park, the actor, but he's like,
he's great.
Yeah, he's very good. Monica, and then it's like everything just starts going shit crazy then because all the sword agents have to come in and see what's going on and stuff. But I liked how it was from that perspective. I wonder will we get an episode from Hydra's perspective?
Maybe. Either way, I think it's. So I kind of hope that it kind of keeps staying fresh and original, because I think you mentioned it earlier, Sean, that it kind of felt a bit more Marvel-y, whereas recent. And I know obviously this is an obvious thing to say because it's a Marvel TV show, but like one of the things I've loved the most about WandaVision so far is how like creative it's being and how original it's being and mysterious it's being.
Same.
Yeah, and like I think a lot of people are digging that. So to kind of fall back on a bit more formulaic, to fall back a bit more on the MCU formula, I think would kind of be a disservice to what it's achieved so far. So I don't know. We'll see. They know what they're doing. They've had a good start, in my opinion. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. But I just kind of hope they keep the mystery up. You know, keep us guessing. That's what a lot of the conversation is going to be about, and that's what any of the conversation I see on social media. It's just people saying, "Oh, who do you think this character is? What do you think is going to happen on this episode?" And I haven't seen that for a long time when it comes to Marvel. You know, when it's like, "Oh, this next film's coming out." Okay, I don't see people having these not deep, but these kind of thorough conversations about, "Oh, I think this is going to happen. I think this character is this person," you know? And so it feels fresh and exciting, and I'm really looking forward to more of it. Keep it up. You know, Kevin, I know you're listening.
Yeah, but it's good because we're just good. I hope the payoff comes at the end. I hope we're like, "Oh, episode 2, that thing meant this."
Yeah.
You know, I hope that happens, because I like the beekeeper reveal. It was a sword agent.
Yeah.
in his normal uniform.
I
and
love
it was
that.
changed to a beekeeper stuff. And like, I don't know, this kind of hexagon or this kind of beehive seems to be a recurring theme, because you know, the guy who's over sword now, he took over for Monica's mother.
Mm-hmm.
In his office, he had plaques of like certificates, but they're in the shape of a hexagon or like a beehive. Yeah. So will he be this overall big villain? Will he be Mephisto? Rumored. We don't know if Mephisto's in the show or not. I think he has something to play in all these shows, because I think kids is a big element, you know. And in Loki, I talked about it as well. We get to see Mephisto while Owen Wilson's character is talking to a child. And we see in episode 2 of WandaVision for the kids, when there is no kids in this town, and then Wanda gives birth to 2 kids who are probably going to have powers. So I think Mephisto is doing something with kids. I think he will end up coming into it somewhere. Ascendant, don't spoil anything, because you probably know.
Listen, I'm gonna call the police and report Mephisto for having interest in kids.
I know. Go on.
Okay, I was gonna say this little thing is, scientifically, the shape of a hexagon is one of the strongest naturally occurring shapes. That's why, like, you'll find it in like,
The Shining.
I've never seen that, but people, you know, that is one of the. Sorry to blow people's minds, but I've never seen it. Yeah, it is one of the most naturally occurring. It is the strongest. I think it is the strongest naturally occurring shape. That's why you'll find it in like beehives and other things. So I wonder if I don't know if they got that deep into finding like what's the strongest shape to, you know, show Wanda's power. And, you know, honestly, it could just be simple as saying, "Hey, she's been hexed," and that's why they've got the hexagon. It's interesting because I wonder, and especially with like this cosmic background radiation, I wonder if it's because if Mephisto is really involved, is it because he is this galactic being? Maybe that his energy is being channeled into here, and that's maybe a part of the cosmic background microwave radiation. This show is so great, and I really do enjoy it, and I feel like there's just not enough clues to say what's even remotely really going on.
Which is a good thing. I would say that's a good thing at the moment.
I agree.
And who knows, maybe the beehive stuff, if anybody has seen Takeshi's Castle, hopefully it's just related to them running around a huge maze chased by 2 guys running around doors. But anyway, I think we should move on. And
can I just say 2 things?
You may.
You know the beekeeper, the guy in the beekeeper outfit? Apparently there is a beekeeper kind of villain. So when Wanda kind of got rid of him, people are saying that he might become like that villain.
He's the big bad. He's the next Thanos. Just attacks people.
Well, this
with
could
bees.
be his this could be his origin, right?
It could.
And in the case of what's the name of the agents? Oh God, I forgot.
Wu and Rambo.
No, the black lady. Monica Rambo.
Yeah.
So with Monica, when she's thrown out of the shell, right, that she's in, she still has that red glow around her. And so people are saying that this could also be her origin, where even after she's thrown out of the world, that world that Wanda's made, maybe just being thrown out with that force, and maybe that's how she gets her powers, because she does have her own powers, and a pretty cool list of powers.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, this is the testimony to how good the show's been doing. Is that all of a sudden you can just think like, oh, what that could mean this, that could mean this. This character can get it from here, and it's just speculation, and we have no fucking clue what is going on. But I think you wouldn't be. I don't think you're to blame for having those ideas, those theories. They do sound entirely plausible, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And another thing that sounds plausible is Jared Leto being in Zack Snyder's Justice League, because we know it's happening.
That is a segue.
Can I try something? I don't know if it's going to work.
Oh, no.
Wait, 1 sec.
Oh no. This is how he just leaves the show right here. He's just going to walk off.
No, I'm going to do something now. I don't know if it's going to work or not.
Oh, God.
No. Wait, no.
We have no idea what he's doing. Nobody gave him the permission to do this.
Wait, no. Hopefully this doesn't get us taken down off the YouTube.
I'm getting ready to close the stream immediately.
But, you see that?
Oh, look at this. Hold it closer to the camera. You're blurring. We need to blur your face. That's it. I want it to focus on the card.
Oh, Jared Leto give the middle finger, so it's just like...
Yeah, there you go. Anyone who's offended by the middle finger, I apologize for the...
That's my version of the Jared Leto thing, but...
Cancelled.
Zack's was cooler, but...
Yeah, I think I gotta give the props to the Jared Leto Zack one, but yours is definitely a close second, for sure.
Thanks. Someone screenshot it and put it on the timeline, and then we'll see. We'll see.
We can add that to the bank of funny fucking shit that we've captured Sean doing on the show. Second will be first. The first will be your reaction to Zack being on the stream, where you're just staring into infinity past him, like not knowing how to compose yourself.
Or then when I absolutely harassed Fabian Wagner to tell us stuff about Justice League.
Hey man, he said he'd come back on, so you didn't harass him hard enough.
I mean, if he said that he's going to come on, that sounds to me like a legally binding document. So
that is.
He said it.
That
got
is.
the video
that
of
is.
it.
There was also something that we said when Zack was on the show. Where like, when you come on, you got to do at least another like 5 appearances. So, so you know, they're gonna come back. So guys, you never know when it's gonna happen. You know, maybe Zack is in the call right now, pretending to be Ascended Agent. You never know. Just changing his voice, accent, everything.
He's definitely me.
But you never know. It could happen in the future. You never know. But in terms of Joker, yes, we got our first tease of what he will look like in Zack Snyder's
Are you about
Justice
to do
League.
what like they did to me, with Zack? Remember when you were here? It was you, Sean, and...
no. He's not just going to all of a sudden
that
appear.
reaction, mate. Gold. Absolute gold.
I mean, I had to compose myself because I was like, I had to sort of... Because the stream was obviously set up for...
I recall.
You know,
you were trying to fix everything and you're like having a freak out as well.
I take that as it was a pleasant memory. I'd happily freak the fuck out like that again if I had to. But
man,
yeah,
that was a great reaction.
Hopefully, you know, he'll come back on. Maybe bring Jared. We can have a few beers. Nice positive environment. But yeah, what do you guys think? We'll start with you, Ascended Agent. What did you think about this tease? Did you like it?
With Jared Leto?
Yes.
I hope this actually like awakens people's look. Obviously, the Ayer cut isn't having a big moment like us in the Snyder cut. But I hope people just like look at this, and even though it's different from, I think Zack even said that this is different. Mine is different from his version. So I hope people look at it and say, look, we want the Ayer cut, because I really want that as well. And if anything, like David Ayer, he doesn't have to spend 70 million to get his film fixed right. So hopefully he'll look at it and be like, people will look at it. There'll be more of a demand, and maybe we can get that.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. I mean, that Jared had like, I think, well, David said that Jared probably got screwed the hardest by the studio interference, but to a lot of people, it's just like Suicide Squad was what we got, and that was it. And it, you know, nothing on top of that is going to happen. That was the best that David could do. That was the best that Jared Leto could do. And so even if that was David's true vision or whatever, just hypothetically speaking, Jared was in that for like 5 fucking minutes, and people are like, no, I'm done with him. He's a terrible Joker.
I know.
Screw him. Like that flies in the face of just just common sense. You know, it's one thing to just, okay, fair enough, say I didn't like his interpretation or whatever in Suicide Squad, but just to just flat out categorically say, no, I'm done, he's shit and I hate him, based off 5 minutes in a film that we all know to be heavily messed with. It's just, I mean, that's the shit we deal with every day, you know.
Listen, I mean, I wasn't too particular. I didn't love his character and I didn't really enjoy it. But again, like 2 minutes of him on screen and then 2 minutes later on at the end of the film,
yeah,
doesn't really say, oh, look, this is the entire character, especially in a film that's been messed with. So I just, this is what it is. Like, it's such a frustrating thing to be in this like DC community because we're so close to greatness. Like, we really are, guys.
Yeah.
It's not like they can't, especially with David Ayer, just let him finish what he had. He just needs to like put it together. That's it. He doesn't have to film anything. And we're just so close to greatness, but we're also being led by a bunch of idiots essentially, and we can't get the great things that we deserve and that we want.
Yeah, and I mean that's the leadership element of something we'll get onto in a little bit, but it is quite insane how, like, you know, we've talked about this a lot on the show, right? At the end of the day, movie making is a money business, right? You go with whatever's going to make you a shitload of money. If a film that was 3 hours long, just filming like a black square in a room, made them $2 billion, they would do it, no questions asked, right? We know, and whether you compare Zack's success to the MCU or whatever, films that Zack has directed or executive produced or whatever have netted Warner Bros. Like $4.5 billion. Whether that's more or whether that's not enough for whatever you think, that's still like the most success they've gotten out of the DCEU has come from Zack. And it's so to then like dig deep down, as we've heard in the recent days, and we'll talk about in a bit, to just flat out say, no, I actively don't want this to happen, not because of like, but just because of personal reasons, just because of ego and whatnot. It's so insane that business execs would rather, you know, focus on their pride and their dignity than just a shitload of cash. Like, this is gonna make you the most cash. You know, in terms of the HBO Max dynamic, this is probably what most people are going to be going to HBO Max for this year. Like, and that's not me being an idealist, that's just generally speaking. I mean, that's conjecture, whatever, prove me wrong. But it's so insane how they would just flat out say, no, I really don't want this to be released. And the rumors that we hear of a series perhaps being more enabling of success, so they want it to be a film instead. You know, 4-hour film might be a turn-off for the general audience or whatever, because they haven't heard of a pause button, but we've seen the memes about that. But it's just insane, you know, and I'm sure you guys share that sentiment, that how do you just dig deep down so hard and say, no, I don't want money, I just want to cut off my nose to spite my face. It's ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, why? It makes no sense. Even with Zack Snyder, okay, you spent $70 million on his film, right? But again, for $70 million, right, you're getting a Justice League film that is 4 hours long.
Yep.
What's the loss? And people have been speaking about it for years. Free marketing for 3 years, dude. No one's ever going to get that ever again. That's a fact. Not going to happen.
Yeah, 100%.
Again, like, how do you say, no, thank you, I don't like money? It makes no sense.
Well, the biggest unnecessary expense you could argue with Justice League was the reshoots, because that essentially nearly doubled the budget or whatever of that film.
They've spent what, $400 million on this one film, probably the most expensive film, one of the most expensive films ever.
Yeah.
Because not only did you spend the initial $200 million, you gave Joss some money as well, and then you gave another $70 million to finish the film. If only they just let him finish his film back then.
Yeah, and it's crazy how you think, like, how much of a different world would we be in if he was given, say, an extra month, they delayed the release of the film by a month or two, and then it comes out, and it's the 214 cut, so still heavily interfered with, as we know. What happens? Is it, I mean, if we're just guessing left, right, and center, is it much more successful than a 4-hour cut ever would have been? Is it less successful? And there's so many different forks that then branches off out to, but it's just, I mean, obviously I would argue, aside from personal tragedies aside, that we've seen, we are in the best timeline because we get the fucking original cut that was meant to be coming out, and we get this extra stuff. But I mean, Sean, you've been a little bit quiet. What do you think about? We're talking about Jared Leto's Joker, actually. So we'll divert for a couple of minutes, get your reaction on Joker, and then we'll talk about Zack and the Execs.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for that, Sean. Let's move on talking about Zack versus the Execs.
Well, look, if you follow me on Twitter, you're probably like, well, this guy stopped talking about this Joker pick, because I had about 15 posts yesterday just about Joker. Because look, I love Joker. I love Batman and Joker, two of my favorite characters of all time. That man right there, absolute legend. Joaquin Phoenix took up the mantle and did a pretty good job. But look, in the 2016 Suicide Squad film, I don't know how many people realize. Like, I was talking to someone yesterday, and they go, "I'm not too interested in the haircut." And I go, "Why?" Well, apart from, I know the studio kind of got involved in the editing and stuff, and they cut some scenes, but at the end of the day, it was still David Ayer who shot those scenes that we got to see in the theatrical cut. It was still David Ayer's dialogue. And I was like, yeah, well, do you realize that they made David Ayer go back and reshoot a lot of that? Like, a lot of the scenes in the Joker trailers were reshot scenes that were put into the trailer. Like, he had a film ready to go. I know there's like rumors he wanted to go back and put in parademons and Steppenwolf and stuff like that back in the day, but then he didn't get the chance. But like, Jared Leto was done dirty. Like 9 minutes, I think it was. He was in the theatrical version. Maybe that's the extended cut, the director's cut that they put on DVD after. But he was done dirty. Like, he's an Oscar-winning actor, and he was like treated like a piece of shit. Like, it's ridiculous. And David Ayer, who just came off the back of Fury, which was an unbelievable film,
incredible film
with some huge talent. Like, you got Brad Pitt, you got Shia LaBeouf, you got some big actors in that who who've worked with the best directors, and David Ayer did an amazing job with them. And then I was excited he was doing the Suicide Squad film. And even though I do like the Suicide Squad film that came out, I enjoyed it, I thought it was loads of fun, I still want to see the Ayer cut, because like, Jared Leto was pissed off back in 2016 about how much was cut of the movie, of his part. He said there's enough for a Joker movie. And he even said, if I was to die tomorrow, all those scenes would resurface somewhere, and you'd see how great I really am as the Joker, or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And like, but look at the film, The Little Things. He was brilliant in that. The film was okay, but he was brilliant. Like, he's just a brilliant actor. But this right here, this picture, I got some Crow vibes from it. You know, the Crow film. Like, I got some vibes from that. I got some even Joaquin Phoenix vibes, that kind of the long hair.
Definitely.
But I'm looking forward to it, because Grace Randolph was saying that Jared Leto is impressed by the version that Zack is putting out and by what's going on. And he was a bit hesitant to come back. And he probably was, because he got a lot of shit back in 2016. It probably hurt his career. It hurt his career a little bit, kind of, you know, and to be regarded as the worst Joker of all time. And I was like, I can't really judge Jared Leto's Joker, since all of his scenes were cut and he was like chopped up in through the movie and just like made a joke of. So I hope we get to see the Ayer cut someday, but I'm looking forward to his version in the Snyder cut, because remember, guys, this is an R-rated movie, and it's not like back in the day when Zack was shooting Justice League, he had already in mind, kind of. But when he was back doing the additional photography, he knew this was going to be R-rated. So I'm sure we're going to get to see some Jared Leto unleashed. I think it's blood on the card as well. If you look closely, there's some spots of blood. Surgical gloves, I think. And I thought maybe he has like a ball patch here and there's here at the side. So I put like a compare two pictures together from the comic books, and I put them out, and somebody asked Grace Randolph, is this kind of what it is? And she said no. So maybe he's wearing something on his head to cover up the rest of his hair, because you can't really see, but it looks to me that he's going to have black lipstick, maybe black eyes, and maybe black hair. But that's just what I think. But yeah, I'm hyped. I can't wait. And as I said in this show, was it the last day? I said they have to use Jared Leto in the marketing campaign, because he is a huge IP himself. You know, he's the face of Gucci. He's got the big fashion line there, the fragrance as well. He's a rock star. You know, he has his own cult. He does. Yeah, and he's a big star, and like women love him as well. You know, I'm sure some guys do as well. But he could market the shit out of this movie on his own account. Him being in the trailer could be a big win, and maybe could be the difference of Zack Snyder's Justice League being a success, and maybe not, because I think he's that big of a star. So I'm looking forward to it, and I love that picture so much.
Well, I've got 2 points to raise in like what you said. First point is I just had a look, and somebody on Reddit has tallied up to a total of 7 minutes and 20 seconds of screen time that he has in Suicide Squad, which is incredible, which is just ridiculous. The second point I wanted to raise is, what do you guys think of, I've seen a couple of people saying that it looks like he doesn't have any tattoos in that shot. They're very hard to make out, and obviously like the damaged one is going to be very hard to spot. if this is a tattoo-less Joker, do you think that we are going to get any potential Robin scene or any flashback to that in some regard? Because Zack has said that there is something in the film regarding Robin that Ben Affleck's Batman has lost, but he didn't say anything. Yeah. I apologize if I spoiled the whole film for everyone there, but he's said
it's a small thing. I think.
The question was only just like, are we going to hear anything about Robin? Is there going to be any discussion about him in the film? And Zack knowingly kind of said, yeah. So,
how do you think Robin died? Do you think they did with what they did with Dick Grayson in the Dick Grayson, with Jason Todd, where he was beat to death and then, let to die?
I imagine there will be some. I think there will probably be a similar fate. I don't think it will be exact because we've all seen the anger that Zack has faced, the backlash that Zack's faced for having the wrong Robin die, if you will.
Dude, people are still pissed about, who's that male boy? What's in the beginning of BVS? They kill him
Jimmy
off.
Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, yep.
Why are people pissed about Jimmy Olsen? Like,
there are people out there who have
cares?
never heard about him before and then just heard, oh my god, that's Zack hating on another character. I hate you. That's just going to happen, right?
People are acting like Jimmy Olsen is, Superman's... He has this big role, but he's just a male boy. That's it. Like, he's got... Did people want like a CIA version of him just like running around the story with that? And he was never going to get a story.
Well, this is the thing. These are probably the same type of people who are up in arms about Cyborg not saying booyah, And I saw like a really great tweet about it, and it was saying how, he suffers through family loss, loses basically all of his body in a cyborg body. He can't do what he loves. He can't pursue the career he loves. He's being forced to fight this otherworldly being. And everyone's like, why aren't you saying booyah, bro? Like, that's the only thing that's notable about your character. Like,
dude, they killed my mom and dad. You want a booyah?
Yeah, it's just like... But then again, that's one of the favorite things to look back at to the theatrical cut of Justice League when you see the scene where he does say booyah and his face is so depressing. It's just he goes like smiles with the booyah and then just I fucking hate myself, and it's understandable, that's not his character. That's not the only thing about his character. That's a prominent aspect from one interpretation of a recent cartoon. Like, that's not Cyborg through and through. But yeah, to get back to the original point of like, do you guys think that forget the Robin dynamic? Do you think there will be a flashback with Joker?
This is where I was going with this idea of, do you think that could be him cutting up or playing around with Robin there, and that could be a flashback to Robin's death?
It's entirely possible, but like because to go back to the point, I think Sean said it a couple of minutes ago about how when Zack was doing the additional photography, he knew that it was definitely for sure knew it was going to be an R rating. So, I think maybe the logic is he's thinking like, okay, there's enough in here to maybe justify an R rating, so my additional photography is gonna solidify the R rating. So the fact that we hadn't heard about maybe an actor who was there who could have been a Robin, I don't, Jared Leto turning up in the reshoots was something that we were not, or the additional photography, sorry, was something that we were not supposed to hear about. So the idea that Jared Leto getting out. And not perhaps, here's some like young mid-20s guy who could easily be a Robin. How the hell we didn't hear anything about that would be very impressive if that didn't happen. So I don't know. I'd love to see it. I'd love for us to get a Jared Leto flashback for him killing Robin or whatever. And I think that would easily set up any dynamics between Batman and Jared in the nightmare sequences that we see. But yeah, do I think that there's going to be a scene like that? I hope so. Was there one in the additional photography? I think it's really hard to tell.
Yeah, I think that also if there's any cool comments in the chat, read them out because my chat isn't updating for some reason.
Everyone's just saying agreed and facts when I was talking, so that's fair
praising you. But no, I think because Grace Randolph was saying that she got to see an image of the Nightmare Joker and he's pretty badass and he's actually he's in some sort of outfit as well. We don't get to see it. Grace said he has something down below that everyone will be pretty interested in. So maybe it's more mature than we think to see. But no, she said it looks pretty cool. So I think this is the Nightmare Joker. I don't think we're going to get a Robin scene, I think in the original 214 cut, there was going to be a Robin reference. And I think with the addition of photography, he's going to put in another Robin reference or something like that. Maybe an interaction between him and Batman. But I think what would be cool is if the Ayer cut was announced and was going to happen, it'd be cool if David could go back and shoot a Robin scene with Jared and Robin, maybe Ben, or just a stunt double for Batman. I think that would be cooler because this was David Ayer's story, and Jeff Johns in the theatrical version said that Harley Quinn killed Robin, which doesn't make any sense because I think I said this before. So how did I explain it? So Batman versus Joker. Joker kills Robin. Batman beats up Joker, knocks his teeth out.
Yep.
Joker gets sent to Arkham Asylum. He has the grill put in.
Harley.
He meets Harley Quinn, Harleen Quinzel, who is a therapist, psychiatrist, whatever it is, and she isn't Harley Quinn yet. Then by them two meeting, she turns into Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
So Robin was dead years before Joker ever made Harley Quinn a person. So Jeff Johns, you fucking idiot, whatever you're doing there.
As David literally tweeted out to solidify that, he literally tweeted out saying, Johns ruined my timeline. Yeah. So it doesn't get any more click out than that, does it?
Yeah, so I think personally, I think it would be best if David could do that certain scene. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It looks badass. I can't wait to see it in the trailer on the 14th. And I wonder will it be. I don't want to see the full look. I want us to know that Jared Leto's in it. I want average audiences to know he's in it. I want to see some sort of cool piece of dialogue or something. But yeah, I can't wait.
US Edited Agent, what do you think we're going to get in the trailer regarding Jared Leto?
Regarding Jared Leto? I think we're just going to get a scene of him laughing with that laugh that he's got.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get something of them in the future with the Nightmare World, just standing around talking or discussing something. I don't know, man. All I know is that I'm dying from excitement because after all these years, here we are. We get to finally see it in just a month, essentially.
Exactly.
The tattoos don't even have to be in this because Flash has gone back in time so many times. It could have altered how characters look and how characters are in a way because, like, we have the tattoos in the 2016 version, but then we know that Flash kind of uses time travel in this movie as well, and he was supposed to use it in part 2 and part 3. So he's going to use it a lot. So maybe, like, you know the way the flashback or the Flash forward, we got to see a Flash warning Bruce, and then we seen this alternate timeline where Superman kills Batman. This nightmare scene could be another alternate timeline where they do something wrong in present day and it leads to this or something like that. You know, so this doesn't this timeline that we see in Zack Snyder's Justice League might not be the concrete nightmare timeline. That could be just something that could happen if they don't fix this in the past. You understand? So it could be by say part 3, the nightmare timeline could look a lot different than it is in Batman v Superman or Justice League Part 1. So the Joker's look could change and it could be different just because of different timelines and stuff like that.
I can see it just being like a bit of a middle finger to the audience of like Jared getting a tattoo and just like crossing out the damage because he got so much shit for that. And it's like, I mean, like post fact, we know that it was we've seen it's meant to be like an insult to Batman. But to the general audience, it's just him going like, oh, look at me, I'm insane, I'm going to write damage on my head, but whatever. I can form a bit of a segue here because I can say Jared Leto, Joker tattoo, Joker killing Robin, messed up by Jeff Johns' timeline, awkward executive interference. Hey, let's talk about Zack's recent meeting with the executives. Haha, wow.
I love it.
I gotta earn my paycheck here. So, yeah.
We also got Jack. Jack asked us, do you think Lex will end up using the Zod's armor he rips off in Man of Steel? I'd say eventually he probably will get the chance to use it, probably in part 2 or 3.
I don't necessarily know how well that would translate, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's going to look weird. It'll look weird, wouldn't it?
Just because it's Jesse Eisenberg, and I think he works as that... The whole point of BVS is that he's in no... I mean, the whole point of Lex, kind of in general, unless he's got kryptonite armor or whatever, is that he isn't this physical threat. But with recent interpretations, he is a kind of imposing figure, whereas Jesse Eisenberg was kind of that personification of no physical threat whatsoever to Superman, yet he could still best him. So the idea of Jesse Eisenberg in the suit, I don't know. Cool idea, but I don't think it's going to be a thing with Jesse, in my opinion.
I don't think that if anything, I don't think he'd wear Zod's suit at all. I think he'd take it, get his team to break it down, learn how it works, build something better, build something human.
Yeah, I could see that, like a human version of it that's a bit more lightweight but still protective. I could see that.
Vieira's return, the woman, the Man of Steel. Vieira,
Yeah. Fiora, yeah. I mean, goddamn, if she came back, that'd be awesome. But you know, maybe she's gonna be there at the end of Justice League. You know, could you imagine that? How great that would be. The like
Wonder Woman 3 villain. That'd be cool.
that would be really cool. Yeah, go on.
On a random note, are they? So they're in the Phantom Zone now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just up there in the Phantom Zone, just chilling.
Yeah, chilling away.
So they can come back anytime.
They could.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool. I think I would really not be surprised if they were with Darkseid at the end of jail. If I'm perfectly honest, I can just see that being like a.
All right, dude, that's a great idea.
I'm gonna write that one down because I know Zack is probably watching and he's gonna be like, "Whoa, that's a really great idea." Yo, Warner Bros. Or HBO Max, can I have like another month just to finish this scene? You know, you never know. They did it with Tig Notaro and Army of the Dead. You know, inserting her over Christelia. They could just add Fiora just in the background. Just go like, "Hey, she's also there." I mean, that could be.
I really
cool.
wanted to see that Christelia cut version of it because I really like Christelia because I've only seen like a few things, but I really liked his comedy. And to see him play such a, I don't know if he's gonna play, you know, the typical Chris D'Elia role.
They're probably just gonna die.
Where he plays the funny man. But I wanted to see that, but I guess we won't be seeing that at all.
I'm hyped for Army of the Dead though. Looks fucking awesome. Zombie heist in. I nearly said in Netflix in Las Vegas. Like fuck yeah, sign me up.
I haven't seen the original film though.
Oh well, there you go. You got your run in to Army of the Dead will be to indulge in more Zack Snyder content. But let's indulge in some other Zack Snyder content with his recent meeting with the executives, where he basically just slapped the fuck out of some executives. For those of you guys who don't know, recently he got Time to Enlighten You, and I'm probably gonna butcher this entirely. But we basically got an extract of of his meetings, one of his many meetings, I'm sure, with senior Warner Bros. Brass, and he basically just flat out slapped around the table and said, "My fans can market films way better than you can. Your most talked about product is something that you guys are refusing to release." Just fucking slapped him up silly. So if those people were like anti-Snyder, I really don't think he's done himself any favors with that one, but I respect the fuck out of that. Like, he could have just walked into that, said that, and they go, "All right, well, fuck you, you're not going to get this film released." But instead, he was just like, "Hey, these guys can market the shit out of a film. They've been doing it for years already. They've been, you know, raising hundreds of thousands for charity." And that was a power play, and I think that was definitely... I mean, getting the cut release was obviously vindication for all the fans, but to hear that he supposedly, and we don't know what else he took into that meeting, whether he's got, like... one of Sean's tweets from like 2.5 years ago and says like, "Look at, he got 16 likes on this one. Look at this one," you know. I don't know, but we know for a fact that he took his supporters in there as essentially ammunition against Warner Bros. And it worked. So,
when was this meeting?
This was just in the run up to them announcing it. I think I want to say.
I think it was
not that close, but
yeah, I was like,
let me have a look.
He was trying to persuade them probably to look. I can make this movie and I can release this movie. Look how much the fans wanted probably. But I just wanted to like, clear up something. Like, there was people on the timeline saying that, "See, Zack took our tweets into the boardroom and that's why the film got released." He didn't take any of the negative ones in. He didn't take any. He didn't take the ones where he just said "F you, Henry Cavill" or "F you," you know, and any of those ones. It was positive stuff. Probably his post or what he wanted to do, and the analytics of how much it trends.
The analytics for sure, definitely the top thing. Like, just hey, look, this one, like, they decided to organize this meeting, this trend event or whatever, and it reached this many hundreds of millions of people. I'm trying to find, if you guys keep on chatting about it, I'll see if I can find out when the meeting was.
Let's just watch Lewis.
I'm gonna go on my
yeah, it just shows that he was probably trying for so long to persuade Warner Bros. Like, look at this huge fan base. Like, this is massive, and you guys won't release the movie. Like, you could make money here and just make everything right. But it wasn't until AT&T came that they said, "Oh, let's release it now," because there seems to be a huge fan base here.
Yeah, I think one of the main things is that he was definitely trying to convey was that it wasn't just. It's not just this like small loud minority or whatever. There are a lot of people who want to see this, and I think that was, regardless of what their stances were on Zack's films and financial success or whatever, that would have been a huge hurdle for him to overcome and say it's not just a load of people on Twitter who are really loud. It's a load of people on Twitter who are really loud, and those tweets are reaching a lot of people, and they are in turn getting more interested. And it's keeping. I mean, take today for example. Yesterday, we get the announcement that it's going to be R-rated, right? Mm-hmm. And Zack's name trends on Twitter. That's it. Yeah. He didn't do anything. It just got announced that it's going to be R-rated, and it blows up. And you don't see that from other directors. You don't see that from, Marvel is probably the only relevant example, but it will be like, the newest episode of WandaVision's dropped. And I think episodes like 2 and 3 didn't trend at all of WandaVision, but 1 and 4 did. Zack's films gets its age rating, and boom, trended.
The posters trended higher than WandaVision episode 4.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, Zack Snyder is trending right now anyway. It says Snyder with 26,000 tweets, and R-rated is trending. So,
well, there you go. And there are a lot of people just kicking up a fuss about it. But
again, for the last month and maybe more than that, nothing major has happened. Let's be real. There wasn't anything big planned, but he's just been trending every other day essentially.
Yeah.
And that's why he's so right at saying that. Look, these guys are way better at marketing than you, because it's not just the community. It's the fact that we're all here, and because we're all here, all this comic book websites, they want to talk about it because it's such a huge thing.
Exactly.
Because before maybe some of them didn't like it, maybe they didn't believe in it, but now we know it's coming, and they all want that attention. And the fact that they know this is going to be a huge thing, they talk about it more, so we get more people coming in. So it's this feedback loop of more and more people coming in.
Yeah.
This film's gonna be huge.
I think the film is gonna have legs. It's gonna be trending for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because even people who don't know anything about it, they'll hear about it online and they probably might want to check it out. So it's Zack versus Warner Brothers. Looks like Zack has won, even though he wanted it as a series. It's still coming as a movie. They're trying so hard to squash this movie. But it's not working.
It's literally it's blowing up in the exact opposite direction for them. Everything that they try and do, I know you guys basically just said this, but everything that they're doing is just making it more and more. Because it's the decision is there to try and turn it into a film, so to dissuade the general audience, whatever. Oh, well, it's a 4-hour movie. Drop that on Twitter. Everyone's talking about it and going oh shit, 4-hour movie or whatever. And any publicity is good publicity. We'll just have to see how that impacts its actual performance in terms of whether it's. I think I saw Brian mentioned it on Twitter recently that he was of the opinion that a series would have probably played better with the general audience because it's easier to digest. But I'm of the opinion I don't fucking care. I want to see fucking 4 hours of Justice League. I'll take it however we get it.
I think I prefer it as a movie because then I can enjoy it in one sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also think that it's probably going to be better to go as a movie, because I don't think in the beginning, if it was designed to be a TV show, I'll take that, but I think it would be best to just go movie.
Yeah.
Well, Tarantino did something similar with Hateful Eight. He chopped it up into a series for Netflix after, and it actually worked pretty well because that movie was in chapters already, and Zack's movie was in chapters already, so maybe that's why it would have worked. But I agree, all of us here want to watch 4 hours uncut. But from a business point of view and for the potential of a sequel, series might have been better because you would have had a constant month, maybe even 2 months of constant Snyder Cut discussion and theories and all that kind of stuff like we're getting for WandaVision now.
Well, why do you think they went back to making it a movie? Because they were very adamant on saying, we're going to do 4 parts.
Did you?
And then they went back.
Did you not watch the videos I put up on Twitter?
Oh, probably not. Just kidding.
No. We got some drama.
Why doesn't my Twitter revolve around your whole life? No, it was Robert Meyer Burnett heard that there was contract problems and the talent, not the actors, but the managers and agents wanted more money because it was going to be a series, which is fair enough. That's
okay.
But Toby Emmerich it was up to him to get involved and sort it all out, just because he's the main guy there. But he decided to, oh no, we can't sort it out. Okay, let's just put it into a movie then and just drop it at once. So it was that was he's trying to. Robert Meyer Burnett was saying that because Toby wants to get rid of this film, he wants it to fail, so that's why it's back as a movie.
I don't even know what to say, man. It's like we're still here in this group, but there are still clowns on the outside that are just rooting for us to fail.
It is quite crazy how there is like it's not a case of just like a normal conversation online or whatever. It's the fact that it's a community that is fighting against like an entrenched management that you can't just talk to super easily. You have to, that's why this is kind of taken a long time. One of the main reasons why it's taken a long time is because you have to build up that credibility and the huge numbers online in order to get an iota of attention from the people who are in charge of stuff like this. And I guess it's one of the blessings of one of the silver linings of a COVID world is this, and I've said this probably billions of times, this acceleration towards streaming and services needing content. And then you say, hey, and this is something that you said earlier, Ascended Agent, you spend 70 mil, you've got 4 hours of Justice League, the biggest characters in the DC universe, Oscar winners, your Ben Afflecks, your Jared Leto's, your huge names of success, like Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot, for 70 million. That is piss all.
It's nothing. It's chump change, dude. Because you can say, oh, I'm going to give 70 million to make this huge movie with these actors. But guess what? First of all, in today's day and age, you can't go and film anywhere, essentially. You have to do all these setup, all these insurance things. But for 70 million, you're getting like one of the greatest casts ever to come back. You know that Aquaman's made $1 billion in the box office, so people are going to come back for that. Jason Momoa is huge anyway. Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck. What's the loss? And you got the biggest characters in Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. She just had her film come out, so it's still a fresh thing in people's minds.
Exactly.
What 70 million is nothing. It really is nothing. And that's always been, sorry, Sean, but this has like been one of the most frustrating things because it's not like they had spent 200 million. It's 70 million. You could spend it on another film, but that would always be a gamble. This is not a gamble. This is just something people just didn't want because they wanted to move on. But guess what? They've had nothing that they've done since Snyder's gone has been successful in any way. That's how I see it. Especially that Birds of Prey thing has been horrible. Nothing they've done has been good for the DCU, and I think they've been losing more and more. Well, okay, they've made a little bit of money, but in the long run, they're losing their fans because they have no clear plan of where they're going. So 70 million, is it anything? No, it's nothing. And if anything, you're winning back your fans more and more.
Yeah, I'd agree with that for sure.
They didn't want Joker, and that did brilliantly. So hopefully, Zack Snyder's Justice League can go in the same direction. But yeah, I don't see how it's not a success because, as you said, those are huge actors and they're playing even bigger characters. So how does this not get around the world, and how does people not check it out of curiosity? But I think it's going to be covered by all the big media outlets. Even though you see people on Twitter saying, "Oh my God, why are you talking about this? You didn't want this a few years ago." Guys, there are accounts that have millions of followers. Let them talk about this.
Someone was mad about IGN because, like, who cares? That's 15 million followers they have, right? 15 million more than me, okay? So just let them. Sometimes you have to work with the enemy to get in with the bigger enemies,
Yeah, and like they've 15 million followers, and Zack Snyder only has nearly 1 million. So like that's good. It's getting more people exposed to it. So yeah, I'm all for that.
And it's one of those things. I mean, like I think there will be deeply entrenched anger at certain institutions, maybe like Collider, for example, where it's like, okay, there's a difference between IGN, who just write blatantly kind of a lot of just ignorant articles, and it's not just limited to Zack Snyder's Justice League, and not meaning I'm not trying to take shots at IGN or anything, but they do get a lot of things wrong with headlines. And there's like, I think there was like, what was it, like the New York Post or whatever that said that Zack Snyder's Justice League allegedly contains new footage. It's like, okay, eventually you get stuff like that. It's just kind of annoying. You get your far end where you have Collider, where, we've seen what happened there. But for the most part, it's just a case of like, guys, at the end of the day, it's a movie, okay? You have people like IGN who are now going to basically just give you free marketing to millions of people. Just shut the fuck up, all right? Just stop complaining, okay? Like, we're getting the cut. We are getting this movie. Yeah, there are people on Twitter who have been complete assholes to the movement, and yeah, there are toxic elements of the fandom, for sure. Let's just ignore all of that. Let's just ignore this shit. And I know, no, who's gonna fucking listen to me? But, like, we're on the home stretch of this. The only goal of, if people want more, is just to watch it when it comes out, tweet about it, promote it, hashtag the shit out of it. Let everyone know that this is something that they can watch and how you feel about it. Stop focusing on all of this stupid shit that Twitter provides, and instant access to just this pure trash. Just focus on what matters. And I think the general image around the fandom will hopefully improve. But that's idealistic.
Yeah, well, I think we can out shout those guys because they just talk
exactly
bullshit every single day, every day, every minute. They're just bullshit. But,
that New York Post one of allegedly contains new footage was I nearly put my head through a wall at that point. It's just like that's not a hit piece. That's just somebody who just doesn't know. Who doesn't know on the situation.
Yeah, they're not educated, but hopefully when they watch it they'll say, "Wow, this is completely different," which it will be. So, exactly. But yeah, just keep posting about it on all your social media outlets, and hopefully if it gets one more person, if all of us can get one extra person watching it who didn't know anything about it, then that's a big win.
Yeah.
Listen, I tweeted Elon Musk, like the biggest guy. Okay, if the moment he says, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch that film," that's a success instantly.
I mean, that would work, and we've seen the metrics so far. We saw Wonder Woman. They said like for it to be, I think Jason Kilar said for it to be a success, they wanted something like 4 million hours watched or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they got to 14 million within. They wanted like 4 million by the end of the opening weekend, and within 2 days they had 14 million. And churn has also been way lower than they thought it was going to be. With I think it was something like mid to high 80% of people still staying subscribed to HBO Max after Wonder Woman 84 left the platform. So that is brilliant. If you want more, Snyder stuff, if you want more DC stuff, keep doing what we're doing.
Support it.
Exactly.
And Snyder's smart because he's going on Grace Randolph. She's one of the biggest YouTube channels in the world on YouTube. That talks about movies, and she's got a great fan base as well. But if Zack could get on someone like Joe Rogan, the podcast.
Yeah, I've always thought that that would be incredibly good exposure because that is a huge platform. And I bet he's in Texas now. He's not in California though, so wouldn't it be as convenient? But still, that would be the way to go.
We should do a really good campaign would be to get Zack on Joe Rogan because the amount of people who check out that podcast and then will end up just, oh wow, this sounds pretty interesting. Maybe check out the film. That'd be awesome. All
right, we're starting it right here. We'll get Sean to put out a tweet now because he's the hashtag creator, and that's the only reason the show has any credibility is his ability to hashtag. So get Zack Snyder on Joe Rogan. Everyone tweet out the hashtag. And thank you all for watching, I guess.
Sean, come up with the hashtag. What are we tweeting?
What are you going to
do? It takes time, guys.
Just so you can talk about how you tweet that first.
I have to soak in a bath first.
We would have got the Snyder cut like months earlier if Sean could just think of it on the fly, but instead he had to take it like, I gotta get it. What could I say? But
Batman Begins, I go off with the House of the Shadows, whatever you call them, and
League of Shadows. Goes and trains for 7 years, and eventually comes back. I know how to write a hashtag. I can put 4 words together in a tweet. Wow, I'm so good.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe we could do something like that.
I think it's a great idea, and it will have originated here. And Joe Rogan will give us a shout out, and then we'll be on the Joe Rogan show. And fucking hell,
it all comes around full circle. So.
Yeah, well, realistically, Joe would be on our show. Let's be real. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not going on his show.
I'll go on it, Joe. I'll go on it.
Joe who?
Oh, don't do this. All right. Anyway, I guess that's it. Thank you for watching, everybody. Sender Agent, thanks so much for your time, man. Appreciate you being here.
Me. You know what? I actually don't even watch YouTubers. I do watch a lot of YouTube, but I don't watch streams because we had this saturation of it too much, and then I lost all interest in it. But I've only watched 2-3 people right now, which is one of you, definitely you guys, Casey and Sean, and sometimes whoever I can find to if you guys aren't on. But yeah, I really do enjoy the show, and keep it up, man.
Thanks for having me on, man. No. Thank you for coming. We appreciate your time. It's not like a trivial 10-minute snippet. We take it a good hour and a bit out of your time. And we drastically increased the speed at which you had to eat your food. So I give props to digestive system.
I'm a very slow eater, and everyone moans at me about it. And then today I just finished it flash. I was out of there.
So anytime you have a significant event coming up, we'll just say, "Oh, we're getting a Sender Agent on the show," and we'll wolf it down. And we're like, "Sorry, we don't have time for you anymore," and then you got to go.
That said, Sean and I have never had a proper conversation like this. We've had a few chats, but nothing proper like this. So it's nice to have a proper chat with you. Cool.
Thank you.
And
Look at him,
me,
he's
and
blushing.
me, and me.
He's blushing.
All right. It was nice to have a nice chat with you as well, Sean.
Oh yeah.
Screw this guy, it's jabroni, whatever he's doing here.
Yeah. But we will be back. Maybe it depends. We'll have another episode in a few days if we get a guest. Maybe if not, see us probably in a week. It's always on the fly.
Yeah, well, we're very impromptu with what we're doing. If you want rigidity and consistency, go check out that Real Talk shit, whatever that is that Sean does every Saturday at like 2 a.m. UK time because
it's like I got nothing else to do in my life.
Can I just ask, why at 2 a.m., dude? You live in we live in the same country. Why 2 a.m.?
It's not my show. It's not my channel. So
he's got to do it at the convenience of KC. That's right.
For KC, it's 7 a.m. But then for all the Americans that watch it, it's like 9:30 or something. I don't know.
That is the one consistent show that I watch. So I have to stay up from like 2 till 4.
I think it's because the analytics, the viewership, wherever it is, it's like a good time for the viewers to usually watch that show. I don't know. I just go with it. I don't ask questions.
Well, again, thank you for having me on.
I think it's our pleasure to have you. We'll definitely look to get you on here again.
Absolutely.
Because it's always fun to chat with people who are knee deep in all the goss and who have strong opinions about WandaVision. Because that's very fun to talk about at the moment. But yes, thank you very much for being here. Sean, thank you very much for your time as well. Louis, thank you very much for your time. You're welcome. And we will see you next time, people. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye.